Hi everyone, happy Friday. Um, Over the past few weeks, I know I've been a bit quiet, like things got really busy there for a week or two stretch, and but during the time I was away, I didn't go crazy on any book purchases, but I did pick up a few, and wanted to show those today. And I'll talk a little bit at the end, I guess, about, life updates and plans and stuff. But let's go ahead and get to these. We'll start with Witch Chibis by Alexandra Franzese. This is a new release for her. Sorry for the glare. Very cute looking little book. Hoping to get into this. We'll definitely say September. Or maybe this weekend. I'm trying to be very loose. I would like to color quite a bit this weekend, but I'm trying to be very loose on what I'm going to color. I like the Witch Chibi Mermaid. That's very cute. I have a plan in mind, but to try not to overwhelm myself and get to the point where I don't want to color because I picked certain books to color and maybe I'm feeling something else. I'm trying not to stick too hard to that. Hi, Reap Cheap. Reap Cheap's in a mood this morning, for sure. A wild mood. Please don't knock anything over. That's probably if somebody thought me up as a witch, that would probably be me right there. I guess you can come over here. No, no. Okay. Well. Now that is a very cute play on where it's a pumpkin head. I like that. We got some bonus pages. She does have a Spooky Chibis book as well. This one has a little more shading, I guess. Maybe there's shading in this. It's just different. It's done differently. The line art's a little thinner, I think, on some of her older books, but she does have a Spooky Chibis book if you like Chibis and you're big on Halloween and fall books like I am. I will go ahead and put in my plug as a reminder to myself and my fellow colorists that reviews are really important for artists, especially with the influx of AI books into Amazon. Putting reviews on their books does help get their stuff in the algorithm more often and gets it out there for more people to see. So if you can, and you have a book in particular you like or an artist in particular you like to support, please consider leaving a review on Amazon if that's what you purchase through, or on Etsy if you purchase through there for like digital copies. She does have an Etsy store. I don't think she prints all the pages, or she makes all the pages available in the digital version, but most of them, or some of them. I can't remember, but you'll have to look. She does have an Etsy store with digital options. So you could leave a review on Etsy too. Again, influx of stuff on Etsy would help with the algorithm. So just a reminder to everybody else as well as myself to do that, because I haven't been doing it very well myself. Oftentimes I'll complete a page and try to use that, like take a picture of it, load it up, and then talk about what I like about the book. So let's see. New release from Hanna Karlzon. Well, okay, new US release. I waited, I think this book was released last year, in the, is it Swedish? Is it Finnish? I'm not sure. In the original version. And after that, it usually takes about a year to get to a US translation and on Amazon US. And so, with, unfortunately, the long missing book depository now gone. Ooh, still hot about that. Because of the difficulty, like, I don't use a lot of the sites that her books are available on, her original translation books. I'm just starting to wait for the US copy. And so this was released on Amazon US this year. This is the US translation of her Christmas coloring book. I have said for years I'm not a huge fan of coloring Christmas stuff. Every so often I'll get in the mood for it. It's been better the last few years. I've felt a little more inclined. But I love Hanna Karlzon, and if I'm going to color Christmas, like, I definitely want to color out of her books. Plus, I pretty much like collecting. I don't have quite all her books. There's some older books of hers that I passed on that are probably out of print now, but that's okay. I have plenty. I have plenty. I do not need them all. Now, if you do like buying her books when they first come out, love that one with Santa Claus and the Cat. At least, well, maybe not Santa Claus. Santa Claus, that's like an elf. Okay. Or Santa Claus Shrunk. Hey, you know, maybe Santa Claus is actually an elf and magic makes him appear larger. Who knows? If you do like buying her books as soon as they come out, her Halloween book is out. I can't remember the names of the sites. I'll leave a link to maybe a Facebook or Instagram post where she talks about that. I think she's got an Instagram profile. I'll try to link to that. However, I will say, if you are in the US, there might be an issue because of the tariffs. And I hesitate to even say that. I love that picture and that picture. I hesitate to even say that in this video, but because for all I know, YouTube is just chomping at the bit to hide my video because I use that word. Because of the U.S. tariff situation. Right now, a lot of countries are, not tariffs, that's not right. Is it related to tariffs? It's related to tariffs. But I can't remember the rule, but there used to be where you didn't have to pay import fees or extra for any item shipped from like another country that was under $800. And they have took away that. And so it's about as clear as mud right now who that applies to and who it doesn't. And so rather than a lot of countries face the risk of either an exorbitant extra cost shipping these items or having to pass that on to the customer, a lot of countries have just paused shipments to the U.S. And I believe I saw in the Facebook post that, so cute, that a couple of people have gotten notice from the companies and sites shipping her Halloween book that as of right now they're not shipping to the US because of that. I love that picture. So that includes countries like Japan, France, Mexico as of yesterday. So be aware. It may just be temporary, hopefully. But be aware if you're ordering, and this goes for ordering anything to be shipped to you from Etsy, from possibly, I don't know if Amazon Japan applies because Amazon ships so many things over, like apparently they don't, it doesn't affect them for some reason, and I'm sure it's a big corporation reason. But I don't know if it affects Lyrica. I've looked on their site. I noticed that they've paused shipments to the US. But just be cautious of that because they may ship it and then you get hit with an extra tax or an extra surcharge because of that exception going away. So I'm just saying be cautious ordering right now until they get all that figured out. And I'm basically putting a pause on buying anything that's being shipped to the US right now until hopefully that stuff gets resolved. But just be aware if you do that. There are some coloring book artists. There's one in particular that has gained some popularity recently on YouTube. Well, not recently, but other people have shared her for a while, I'm sure. But there's one artist in particular, I can't think of her name offhand, but I've been seeing a lot of her books lately, and I was like, man, I would like to get a book or two of hers. And I went to her site to look, and she's paused all her US shipments. I'm not sure what country she's based out of, but it is not the US. And I'm like, well, darn. I think she does have an Etsy site, but I have to go and see. Anyway, I hate it. I hate it for the artist. I hate it for, those of us that are trying to get books from other artists outside the US and other types of books. But, and I have big feelings about it and how utterly ridiculous this is. And there was no reason for it. But that's all I'll say on it. However, Halloween it usually takes a year to get Amazon US. Hannah hasn't confirmed that for sure, but she said they have told her it should be on Amazon US next year, so the Halloween English version will be available next year. And y'all know how much of Hanna Karlzon's newest book. Y'all know how much I love Halloween, and I hemmed and hawed for months on whether I was going to wait on it, and then ultimately decided to wait, and I think that was probably for the best. So, third book, this is actually a Etsy purchase by Alexandra Dannenman. I'm hopefully going to put an insert of what the official Amazon book cover looks like. So this book's available on Amazon as an Amazon printed book. And then she has the digital copy on Etsy. And when you purchase that, you not only get like a lined in version like this, but you get one that doesn't, the lines are really grayed out. So like if you don't like having the dark black line art, you can use that too, which is a nice touch. Not all artists do that. This is like probably part of that cute, kind of cutesy book genre that's happening. However, these are full-size pages. This isn't a square book. I have one other book by Alexandra Dannenman, and I like this one because, of course, Mimi has a cat, and I thought this would be interesting to get a digital version because I think she was running a sale at the time on her Etsy page, and I thought, not only will I get it, but I'll actually fully print it out, which is something I don't normally do in my digital books, but I figured I'd make an exception for this one. So this is what the digital PDF version looks like, and then I showed you what the cover on Amazon looks like if you want the Amazon printed version. Plus, well, I'll talk about that as we get to it. This is very thick, by the way. I probably need to put this in its own little report cover type book, and I'll be lucky if it fits. There are 35 pages total to print out, including this cover page. So it is a very, like, even the Amazon book's probably a pretty thick book. So a lot of images. But yeah, I couldn't resist it. This is all on like a Nina cardstock that I printed it out. Like I went full out on this one. Well, I thought this might be a good one to try some different textures, some different things that are part of the bigger coloring trend right now. Like maybe try to stretch myself just a little bit. And I figured if I'm going to do that, I would like to do it on cardstock because blending, particularly markers, is a lot more forgiving than it is on Amazon paper. And so I figured let me do it on paper that is more apt to take blending, and then once I get used to doing hopefully some of these techniques, then I'll be able to convert it to like Amazon paper. These are super cute. It does make it a bit awkward to flip through this, but we will persevere. Hopefully I'm not skipping any pages. They might be slightly out of order from the book because I didn't realize that the printer was printing from the back to the front, and so I think I jumbled the order of the pages, but they should all be in there. It's been weird. Like, I see people post amazing pictures that are, you know, I guess mostly in the cute and cozy books, like doing a lot with a small picture. So like blending textures, using a lot of stippling, things like that to create a lot of effects. Like there's glow effects, and there's iridescent effects, and there's, gosh, I'm trying to think offhand. There was like a cross-stitch looking type of effect. Like there's a lot of things that people are doing with those pages to like to elevate them, and using like acrylics with the markers and things like that. And I see them, and I think they're amazing. And it's like if I had the energy, I would want to be trying some of those things, but man, I tell y'all what, it's been hard just to get the energy to do basic hobbies. I've still been in kind of a burnout mode, and it's been hard to get myself to do anything except just get off the phone and scroll, because that's all I feel like I have the energy for. And so when I get to a picture, it's almost like, man, I don't want to go through the trouble of trying to learn something. I don't want to, you know, I just want to color it. I want to color it in my comfort way that I know. Sorry, my alarm went off. In my comfort way that I know best. Which also makes it hard for me to use some different mediums and stuff too, because then I'm like, man, I don't have the energy or the effort to try something new right now. I just want to color it. And that's okay. And I shouldn't let that stop me from just coloring a page like that. But it does, I see so many other people that like grow as colorists over the years, and I don't feel like, I've grown some, but I don't feel like, you know, I've really changed drastically from the way I used to color. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with that. I just need to make sure I understand that. Like, everybody should color in the way that makes them the happiest. And if just putting color on paper is what makes you happy, then do that, because ultimately this is a for you hobby, not necessarily for everybody else. If adding a few little bits and extras helps you feel better about a page and enjoy it, then do that. If you like to go all out with blending and textures and spend, you know, a significant amount of time on a picture, then and that helps, you know, that brings you joy when you color, then I think there's room for everybody. Like there should be no, while society seems to be hell-bent on gatekeeping any hobby and telling you you can only do this a certain way or do that a certain way or use this, only this and not this and everything. It's like any other hobby. People just want to feel superior over other people. But ultimately, it should be a judgment-free zone. All coloring's awesome as long as you're enjoying it and not if you're stressing yourself out trying to keep up with other people and you're not enjoying it, then you know you're not going to stick with it. And so yeah, that's my little PSA of the day, I suppose. So all right, there are my books. Yeah, so work got a little busy the last few weeks. I also went to my parents' house last weekend to hang out with them. My brother did go to a convention and concert series in New York that I was hoping to go with him, but for reasons I couldn't. I'm waiting on a document to get my real ID, so I couldn't fly. He had a great time. I was kind of jealous of him because I would have loved to have gotten away after the week I had last week at work. But one little piece of good news, I'm trying not to read too much into it and get overly excited, which for pessimistic me is really not that hard. But I've talked a lot about Big Air's health, and one of the biggest problems we've had is trying to get his weight loss to stop. Like he's been for, I don't know, 4 months now, steadily losing weight. It was a lot more in the beginning, and then we tweaked a few things and we managed to cut that loss in half, but he was still losing. And then we tweaked his medicine and stuff some more, and like other things are better, and he seems happy, but he still has been losing, even though like the week after, I keep saying like a lot, the week after I got back from Gen Con or something like that, he had the biggest drop he had had in a few months. But then last week was like the smallest drop he's had in months. And so we made 1 or 2 more little tweaks. And this week, not only did he maintain, but he gained, I mean, it was like 0.2 ounces. You know, it wasn't a lot. However, the fact that he didn't lose that and not only maintained it but gained that much is a lot for him, especially in the last few months with how things are going. And it might be a fluke. I'm going to try not to get my hopes up too much, but it was huge. And I was so very happy to see that. He may be eating us out of house and home. His thyroid has been checked, and it's he takes thyroid meds. He is maxed out on those, but so far his thyroid looks fine. His kidneys look fine. He goes for another full round of blood work in November. We've checked different things, and the only thing that we can really come up with is either he has a metabolic disorder where his body, he's eating a lot, but his body is burning through it so fast it can't keep any weight on, or another possibility that I came across the past week or two is he's eating a lot but he's not absorbing anything. And so that's where some B12 shots have come into play. And we upped that to 2 shots this past week, and this happens. So again, his appetite's great on the shots. He is eating a lot. But it's still more, like he should be putting on more weight for as much as he's eating. So, you know, it's not, there's not a perfect solution out there, but for right now he seems to be happy and doing well, and to me as long as he's happy, that's the important part. But I have to admit, I definitely cheered when I saw that number yesterday. And then when we lost an ounce, which is because she's like 6.4, or it went down to 6.3, like, is a big deal because she's so small and she's been so consistent the last few weeks. However, we backed off on her. She has kidney disease. We backed off on her fluids a little bit last week because I thought they were making her nauseous, and she doesn't like to do them. We don't like to do them, so we were kind of a little more, rather than doing them 2 or 3 times a week, we're like, and really only did it once. And ultimately, I think that was probably what dropped it. So we've got to stick to it. And not too worried though. She seemed like she got a B12 shot yesterday, and she seemed like she was feeling pretty good last night. So cats are doing as well as we can manage. Leroy seems to be having issues with his stomach. I don't know if it's a liver infection. I don't know. He's scheduled to have some teeth probably cut out because he has stomatitis in his mouth. And so I've been thinking it's possible his teeth are causing him pain. Something is messing with him because it's causing him to groom himself a lot. Not to the point he's bald, but so much that I think he gets so much hair in his system. And he is impossible to pill. He is impossible to put anything in that cat's mouth. He freaks out. So I've been having to just frantically rub the cat lax stuff that I've been using, like smear it around his mouth so it will get in there eventually, but like I can't just put it in his mouth. He freaks out, and blood, there's usually a loss of blood from the humans holding him. I don't know why, but he showed up here at 2, so it's a mystery as to what happened to him in, early formative time of his life. But his teeth are scheduled to come out, I think, mid-September, so, or at least get cleaned. So hopefully we can get to the bottom of it in the next month or 2. He was galloping around happy yesterday, so it's not distraught him too much, and he's like 16, 17 pounds, so weight wise he is still a chonker, so I'm just keeping an eye on him. But everybody else is doing well. I just have had a really hard time doing anything other than just work and existing, scrolling on my phone. Just fatigue, just down, I guess, about the state of the world, about work's burnt me out, life's burnt me out. However, this weekend is going to be, I don't have to go anywhere. There's not, my workload was better this week. It should be better next week. And of course, there's U.S. holiday Monday, and we get that at the office as well. So starting today and going through the weekend, I'm really hoping to just focus on coloring, crocheting, maybe getting out some of those board games that I bought during Gen Con. Just trying some different things this weekend to see if I can break out of this rut. And that's what I'm really hoping for. Just things to get, I wish life would just get a little easier. So I'm hoping I have some Deborah Muller pictures I need to catch up on. I really want to do a Joshua Dunbar picture, and it's probably going to be out of his Cute Guys Moments book. But I'm already feeling under pressure because every year in September I want to start coloring fall, and I never feel up to it or feel like doing it when September rolls around. And so like I'm already wanting to do fall. Then there's Space Timber, which I do want to participate in. And like then in October I usually do Cattober, and I like to do a lot of Halloween and autumn coloring. In fact, I usually push it all the way through November because I like to color it so much. And so I'm already feeling like I'm putting pressure on myself. I know, we just talked about that. So anyway, and just putting pressure on myself to do videos and just get the energy together to do the things that I want to do. And the energy's not there. So However, this weekend, like I said, I'm going to try to just lean into my hobbies and just sit and color and not worry about doing a video and do the other stuff and not worry about the other stuff. I would like to have another video this weekend, but it's going to be a nice to have, not a must have, and I don't know what it'll be yet. I may not have a completed pages video this month. It really depends. I think 10 pages is usually the minimum I set for myself. If I have that by Monday, you'll get it Monday or Tuesday, maybe. But if I don't have 10 pages by then we'll just combine it with September, which will hopefully be a good month for me. I'm feeling it in my bones. The heat let off a lot this week here. We are unusually cool for August in Tennessee, but I've been able to be out on the porch this week and it's been nice. Winry doesn't like it because she's, 19 and her poor old bones much prefer the warmth. And I hate that for her, but I also kind of like it for me. So I feel a conflict there. Yeah, so just wanted to kind of give you guys an update, and I should be able to post some Instagram pictures over the weekend. We'll see what other type of video I concoct. I do have some things to show you for supplies, but I have one more set of supplies I'm going to go ahead and order, and I'd rather wait for it to get here so I can just do all that, because that is probably going to be the last big supply. This is probably going to be the last big supply investment I have for a while, for various reasons, but the biggest one being I have pretty much everything I need, and unless I run out of something or something runs dry, I do want to get into trying to use distress inks, but I've had those for years and there's a very significant chance that they're dried out. So if that happens, I might invest like a small set just to play with or something. See, another example of don't go buying everything that's trendy, because then if you don't use it, it will just sit there for a while, and if it's something like an ink or a marker, it will dry out on you. And so a little lesson there for you. But yeah, unless I run out of something, I'm probably about where I want to be for variety of colored pencils, watercolor pencils, things like that. And so then, me gracious, then the pivot on that will be starting to go through my collections, maybe purging some stuff as I'm talking about them on video. And my guess is at the start of 2026, I'm going to start going back through my coloring book collection, because that has changed significantly. I also need to do some cleanup and maintenance on my channel. I've been thinking of some different ways to do videos, different intro page, different things like that. Maybe cleaning up like some of my old color and chat videos. When I start the new collection, I'll probably take out some of my older collections, unless people want them there. I mean, it's not bothering me any because it's not taking up room on my computer, but I don't know. I just thought maybe doing some cleanup would help, but we'll see. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to go ahead and let you go. And like I said, this weekend's just kind of a we'll see what happens, but I'm, fingers crossed, I'm feeling pretty good about it. So, and I hope that everyone has a good weekend too. At least the best weekend you can. Like I said, with the world being in the state it is, and current events, don't don't do as I say, not as I do. Try to find something that helps you disconnect and relax. And I should be taking, as I said, I should be taking more of my own advice, and I'm not doing it. So, talk to you later. Bye for now.